Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Roman here with my wife Liz. We're here from the Strength Republic, Strength and Conditioning, and today we just want to talk about the 5 biggest myths in fitness industry that we would really just want to debunk out of like 1,000 different lies. These are our top 5. So today we'll talk about the social media know-it-alls or gurus, so the influencers that tell you what to do, how to work out, and what works for them. We're going to talk about the quick fixes as far as diets and different supplements and different workouts. We're also going to talk about going balls out beast mode, so high intensity programs that are really famous in places like Orange Theory, F45s, CrossFits, all that. And the biggest lie that I think that Liz thinks is eating 6 small meals a day, and we'll finish off that weights don't make you bulky, especially for women. So number 1 is anything you want to...
Social media influencers and all of the Instagram models.
Cool, guys. All right, so myth number 1, the one that really bothers me the most, being in the industry for over 15 years and owning the Strength Republic, which has been successful for over 10 years. The biggest pet peeve that I have, like what really grinds my gears, is all the influencers you see on social media, especially Instagram. Yeah, they have millions of followers and they'll look great in their pictures and the videos, but looking good does not interpret them knowing what they're talking about as far as coaching, right? Do you agree?
Yeah, and health too. It doesn't, how healthy they are.
Right, so, doing shows and modeling on Instagram and attracting followers, like, yeah, they're really good at social media, but at the same time, like, what works for them doesn't mean will work for you, right? So, if you're looking for somebody who has a good program or that will work for you, right? Coach with somebody who has a background in coaching, right? Who has years experience of coaching other people, not just working out for themselves.
Yeah, and I think expertise, training, having degrees or certifications too. A lot of people on Instagram, again, like Art's saying, they're telling people what works for them and trying to coach people, but not really understanding that that person's individual body, their health and their lifestyle, this may or may not work for them, and it may end up actually doing more damage if they are recommending that they take a bunch of supplements that don't agree with their body or train in a way that's unsafe, especially if they don't know how to train properly. So I think the biggest thing to keep in mind too is that a lot of these people, these influencers, one, they're paid to look this way. They don't get cheat meals. They don't get a glass of wine. They sleep and they recover in between a lot of training. We just went to the CrossFit Games. Matt Frazier, he's amazing. But he says himself, he sleeps, he eats, he trains. He sleeps, he eats, he trains. And so for the average person, it makes us as women especially feel inferior when we see all of these women on social media with 6-pack abs and super toned arms, and they look fantastic. And then we want to look that way, but yet it's not necessarily realistic in this chapter of our life right now.
Exactly. So as Liz said, for example, Matt Frazier, he's a world-class athlete. It's one thing, but what I really want to focus on is a lot of people that do fitness shows, right? So those people are very disciplined with their food, right? So a glass of wine or not, they can live off tuna and chicken and rice and broccoli every meal and still do 6 small meals a day and they still train every day. And yeah, they make money doing Instagram. That's why they have millions of followers and then make money through that, right? As their sole job most of the time. Right, and I bought programs just from those people just to see what they put in there, right? And they're so basic and they're so generalized, put together with their nutrition plans, which is 5 to 6 small meals a day. Eat your eggs and broccoli and chicken and fish and nuts and asparagus, right? Is that doable? Yes. Is it doable for 99% of the people? Probably not. Like, I like burgers and fries sometimes, you know, a glass of wine. Like, I can't live on broccoli like I probably could, but I like variety, so do a lot of people, right? And then a lot of those people post videos of them working out, right? Especially women, like the girl influencers, like they're doing like butt kickbacks and like band walks and stuff and stability ball and like BOSU balls and all this other weird shit. But when we come down to it, guys, it's the basics that work, right? It's the basics that work. You know, you take your squat, you deadlift, your press, your overhead press, you pull up and you carry. Right? 6 simple things that are done by all professional athletes who are top of their game. You know, and what can I say? And they're a lot more beneficial for the time you spend in the gym instead of doing, you know, like this machine, you know, like the donkey kick machine, and staying in the BOSU ball and doing like lunge, overhead, curl, press for everything you do, you know, or band work, you know, like, yeah, those things will work a little bit, right? But at the same time, you know, if you have a goal of, you know, getting better shape, building some muscle, losing some fat, would you rather get there faster than take forever, right? Like, they look fun, but they're not as effective. Do you want to go to the gym and be effective, or you just want to have fun? Like, Zumba is fun. Does it work? Not really. It works if you don't do anything, right? But body changes with adaptation, and we'll talk about that in the later myth too. So, body changes with adaptation. So as you get better, you gotta do more. You get depth, you gotta do more. You gotta do more, right? So that's how you gain muscle, lose weight, and all that stuff. Anything you want to add?
Yeah, I think for the common person, you got to think about your return on investment. If I'm a mom and I only have working mom, right, and 3 to 4 hours a week to train in the gym, how can I be the most effective? Band kicks and little lateral raises and little tiny stuff that I do 100 reps of, 5-minute hold of a plank, that's not going to get me to my goal as fast as doing these 6 primal movements and really focusing on those movements, which will transfer over into your life too. Like, when was the last time that a band kickback helped you become better at lifting your child out of the car, right? Like squats, pull-ups, becoming really strong overall is what's going to be helpful for you just to live a lifestyle that you can be fit, strong, move well, feel well, and not waste 2, 3, 4 hours in the gym a day with all the little stuff.
Yeah, guys, so to finish that off, if you're looking to get the best results, get yourself a good coach, like in-person coach, who can show you how to do stuff right and do the things that work the most, right? And the things that work the most are the boring things. So do the boring stuff, you can see the best results.
Yeah. All right, so myth number 2, which is my biggest pet peeve. So as a nutrition coach, I've been coaching now for 4 years, and I see it all the time, and I tried this myself, these extreme calorie deficits and quick fixes. So a lot of times people are looking to lose weight fast, right? You Google that and there's a million different ways that you can lose weight fast. I mean, every time you're at the checkout line at the grocery store, it's lose 10 pounds in 10 days, or Dr. Oz has all of his lose 42 pounds in 2 months.
Oh, Dr. Oz is the best. it's got different extreme weight loss regimen every 2 weeks, and it's like cut out 4 foods, you're gonna lose 42 pounds by Christmas, or last one I saw was Kendra from the Playboy Kendra. She just had a kid, and she's like, what did she say? She lost 20 pounds in 3 weeks, and it was she kept eating Oreo cookies. Come on, guys.
It's crazy. You know, and then we look at the supplement industry, which is huge. It's actually a $72 billion industry. And they're promoting all of these different products like Isogenics, Nutrisystem, Optavia. These programs, guys, the average is $400 a month, so $100 a week just on shakes and bars. And sure, it's convenient, but it's also wrecking people's hormones, their health, their metabolism, because they're eating maybe 900 to 1100 calories a day, depending upon the size of that person. They're in such a large calorie deficit that they end up doing more damage. Sure, they might lose 7 or 14 pounds in a month and look good, or maybe they say that they feel better because they've lost some weight, most of which is water weight. They're not learning how to eat right. They're not fueling their body with foods that are actually gonna give them energy and sustain this weight loss. So what happens next month? They gotta try Isogenics and do another 3-day fast. And you know, for women, there's a lot of different scientific research studies out there that show women do not do as well with fasting as men do. We have different needs. And so it's just important to understand that yes, you might wanna lose weight quickly, but you're gonna gain it back just as quick. I did that. I lost 40 pounds. I gained 50 pounds right back. And I didn't understand when I stopped doing Weight Watchers and stopped counting points how to actually fuel my body with good protein, carbs, and fats, and fuel my workouts in a way that was going to be sustainable and a way that I can make it a lifelong lifestyle. So, you know, I think this myth that I can just do this quick fix is so sad to see all of these people wasting so much time and money, and ultimately going to be spending more money and time in the doctor's office and on prescription medications and things because they've wrecked their health trying to do it in a way that is, you know, just not healthy and unsustainable.
Yeah, guys, look, so like everything is so fast these days, right? So Amazon Prime, shipping next day. You order a pizza, it's there within 20 minutes. So like, people are so used to extreme. So even looking at weight loss or any kind of body transformation, you know, people want fast results, right? But that's not how your system works. So weight loss, especially, or muscle gain, is more like a marathon, right? Like it takes time. And then people just try to sprint that first mile and they get stuck.
Crash and burn.
Right, crash and burn. So I was listening to podcasts with Chris Powell and Heidi Powell from Extreme Weight Loss a couple of years ago, right? That show. Even they said that 85% of the people gain the weight back. As much as they care for like this, like Biggest Loser, like they just didn't give a shit. But as much as they care for their clients and them being successful, they still gain the weight back, right? Because extreme losses or extreme gains don't work, right? So think of it as, you know, if you won the lotto, you won $1 million in a lotto, or you work for 3 years and you learn how to make $1 million. You go broke, you keep making money, right? It's the same concept. Like fast doesn't work, right? So like Liz was saying, when you guys have a goal, right? So to lose 20 pounds or 40 pounds or 60 pounds is January 1st, give yourself a solid year to get to that goal. It's not going to happen by Valentine's Day,
Yeah.
right? You can if you do Dr. Oz's diet, but then you're going to gain 50 back. And then you're going to sit there with till next year, right? Like,
Yeah.
Don't do that.
All right, so for the ladies out there, I just want to say, you know, it's important for you to understand that your hormones, the female reproductive system, also plays a huge role in your ability to lose weight. So I just had a little guy 10 weeks ago, and postpartum, I know all of these people are all about this baby bounce back and lose all of this weight so quickly. But if you're breastfeeding and you're trying to nurture and take care of your little one, that also means that you're not sleeping well, your cortisol levels are raised, your hormones are all over the place. And so even if you're not somebody who has just had a baby, but you're just someone who struggled with different female issues, whether that's PCOS, endometriosis, irregular periods, whatever that looks like for you, your hormones will play a role in your ability to lose weight. And when you try to go into these extreme calorie deficits, what happens is that you place more stress on your body than when it's already stressed, and it's just a recipe for disaster. And to the guys out there, your testosterone levels, you want to have a sex drive, don't be trying this shit either, because your testosterone levels are just gonna tank. And so if you want to fast track your life and live a life where you feel good, you look good, you're healthy, take a sustainable route and get into a calorie deficit with a coach that can help you individualize and tailor your plan according to your lifestyle, your goals. If you're somebody that traveling for work, that's going to impact all of this stuff too. And I know that's why a lot of people say, hey Liz, what do you think about isogenics? I'm on the road for 3 out of the 4 weeks. Well, what does that look like for you when you're traveling and then you're gonna go out to dinner with your coworkers or the CEO that you're trying to impress, and you eat your isogenics bar? Like, it can't be an mixed plan, right? You've got to either be all in or all out for a lot of those supplement programs. So pick something that's sustainable for you, that matches your lifestyle, that you can lose weight, feel good, but also sustain your results.
All right, guys, myth number 3, we're going to talk about high intensity, going beast mode, workout till you puke kind of training style, right?
Lay on the floor, Dad.
What?
Lay on the floor, Dad.
Lay on the floor, Dad, right? So we all probably, if you work out, we all probably done it. I've done it in the past, right? So work out till you can't move anymore. Right, when CrossFit first started, it's you work out and then you kind of sleep on the floor for a while, and then you don't know what's going on. Yeah, so the high intensity training, or the HIIT training, right, made popular by places like Orange Theory and F45s and then all the boot camps, just circuit training, right? It's one, it's not as effective. 2, you end up burning more muscle long term, right? So you do get results faster for the first 4, 6, 8 weeks. So remember, everybody's a little bit different, right? So you start Orange Theories, great, you lose 10 pounds, right? And we have a lot of clients come in, it's I did Orange Theory for the last year. And I asked them, how much weight did you lose? I lost 15 pounds the first couple of months. And that's it, right? Or F45 or whatever, right? I'm not going to throw CrossFit into here because it used to be craziness in the past. Now they started to switch a little bit, so I got more respect. But in general, all the pop fitness kind of boutique places, they try to crush you within 30 minutes to save you time in the day, and then you get stuck, right? So guys, remember, to see the best progress in your body transformation is obviously, my recommendation would be focusing on strength first. Strength is always going to be the ground layer, the foundation. Because if you're training for strength and you're doing stuff like squat and deadlift and press and pull up and carry heavy stuff, your body is going to change through a process called adaptation, right? So if you go from sitting on the couch to moving, you're going to see some progress. And then you get used to that, you adapt. So what's the next step? You're either going to move a little bit faster or a little bit harder, right? So if people start to walk, they lose weight. And they walk, they don't lose weight. Then they start to run, they lose weight. And they run, they don't lose weight. Then you gotta run uphill or run longer, right? So for people that do places like that, right, do just non-stop circuit training, right? Your body's basically going to create a deficit, right, and adapt. So what's going to happen next to see progress, the next step of results, right? You're going to create a bigger deficit. So you're going to work out for 2 hours, or you're going to eat less. You're going to work out more or eat less, right? So when I used to work at a big gym, I used to work at Export many moons ago, right? I would see the same person on the same elliptical, the same time of the day, every day, for hour to 2 hours a day.
Never changing.
Never changing.
Never changing.
Yeah, right? And it was 2-3 years spent until they quit, right? And then seeing them every day, you can see them slowly gaining weight, just busting the rest of the elliptical. Dude, do something else. There's a treadmill, right? There's a stair step. Change something to see the best results. If you're especially looking to change your body, build some lean muscle, increase your metabolism, burn some fat. There's no such thing as toning, right? Your muscle either grows or shrinks, and then you look better. If you have less body fat, you just get more shape. obviously you're gonna focus on doing weights, resistance training, right? Like the biggies, like the squats and deadlifts and presses and pull-ups and rows and all that stuff, right? It's not brain science. But it's the basic, boring stuff that takes the most skill. It's the basic, boring stuff that you need to have a coach to show you how to do it right and program it right so you see the best results, right? Even say you do 100-pound squat every day for a year, eventually you're not going to see any benefit out of doing the same 100-pound squat, right? So it's got to be progressive. Anything you want to?
Yeah, and I would say so many times I see women, especially because we're competitive, and I know guys are too, they come into, you know, these classes like Orange Theory or F45, or I'm gonna say CrossFit, because they're looking at other people in class trying to crush themselves when they're not at that level yet. So my biggest advice, I always tell women when they sign up with me, like, put your blinders on. You are here for you. You have your goals and you're working at your own level. Yeah, you wanna push yourself and progress every single time that you're in the gym, but leave something in the gas tank. Don't completely crush yourself and you go home and you are so sore for the next 2, 3, 4 days that you can't get off the toilet and actually like function as a normal human being. My goal would be to have them leave something here that they knew that they could do more, so that they can go home, recover, come back and do more. And then you get better every day. And if you're programming it correctly with a coach, you're progressively gonna see these changes. You're progressively going to see where you're getting stronger. And then, yeah, 6 months from now, sure, you can keep up with Sally, who's been doing, you know, strength training for 4 or 5 years. You may even surpass Sally, because Sally's so stuck in her certain ways, you know, running on the treadmill, or she's lifting, you know, the same 100-pound squat, or she's doing a 10-minute plank, you know, multiple times a week, and she's never progressing and actually doing things that will help her improve and build strength while you are actually doing that. So just remember, no matter where you train, what you're doing, you're there for you. You've got to leave something in the tank so you can come back and do more and be better the next day.
That is perfect. I also want to add, don't leave the full tank.
Well, yeah.
Right? So on the other hand, I've seen people doing weights, right? And they're doing like the minimal weight because they don't want to get bulky. But guys, remember, like, the progress comes from hard, right? Progress comes from struggle, right? It's like the growth is in the last rep. You know, it's like the slogans, right? But it's so true. You know, if you're doing an exercise and you're doing 10 reps and the weight is light enough that you do 10 and you stop at 10 and you could possibly do 30, you have that huge gap of not doing work. So the first 10 didn't really do anything because the weight's too light. Right, and this is, like, I don't want to be like sexist, but like this is a lot more. I see this with the women clients. They kind of like leave a lot of room at the set, or a lot of gas in the tank.
They're afraid.
Right, before they're done. Right, it's like, I don't want to get hurt. Like, I'm focusing on my form. Like, I'm focusing on your form. Like, you just do your work. Right, like, that's why I'm here to watch your form. Right, so, and guys, you know, going with this. If you're training for resistance training or weight training or strength training, make sure you have a coach or a trainer that tests you of what you can do. Because otherwise you're working out blind, right? And some people are obviously just way stronger than other people. You know, it's just the way it is, right? Like Paris can have 50-inch vertical, and I can barely jump. You know. But yeah, so get tested for strength. Make sure you test and retest. You know exactly where you're at, so you can see your progress, right? So as you get stronger, your body is going to change. If strength is your foundation, your body is going to change. You're going to lose weight. You're going to lose body fat if you're working on getting stronger and building the muscle. Hey guys, so this brings us to myth number 4, which is eating 6 to 25 small meals a day. Right, so since Liz is a nutritionist, I'm gonna let her take over this one.
So this is something that I get asked about all the time. People say, I don't have time to meal prep and make all of these crazy meals, and I'm a big believer in simplifying your life and doing what works for you to make it a lifestyle. So the science, I guess, behind the 6 small meals a day is that you do get a thermogenic effect from food every time you eat. However, if you have 2 small meals, you're just gonna get a larger thermogenic effect. If you have 6 small meals, it's gonna be smaller thermogenic effect. So it really doesn't matter. It's more about that calorie balance of your overall intake throughout the day. So whatever works for you. I personally like to eat 3 or 4 times a day. Art eats twice, sometimes once, kind of depends on his day. So the reasoning for people saying, I can't go on a diet, or I can't lose weight, or I feel like I have to eat all of these meals every 2 or 3 hours is really kind of BS. And this actually stems from the supplement industry. This is a long time ago. Bodybuilders were using a lot of protein shakes and protein bars to get the calories in that they needed, and they were eating frequently and eating smaller meals because they were sometimes eating 3,000 to 5,000 calories, and to do that in one sitting of good quality food is pretty difficult. So the supplement industry created convenient shakes, bars, meal replacements, and let's say the 90s, I think, is when they actually brought it into just general weight loss. So it is definitely a myth. You do not have to eat 6 times a day. I would recommend doing what works best for you, what's sustainable, what's easy for you. For me, like I said, I like to eat 3 or 4 times. I do enjoy snacks every now and then, but it's really about my overall daily intake.
Exactly. Yeah, so guys, if you don't know what thermic effect of food is, think of it as every time you eat, your body goes to work, breaks the food down, your organs start to work and push it down, all that stuff. So that all burns calories, right? So a lot of people thought that, every time you eat, it burns more calories, it's good. So let's get more of a good thing. So let's eat, 5, 6 small meals a day and get your metabolism up, right? But metabolism is not how many times a day you eat, it's how much food you eat, right? So saying that, then we got to look at, there's calorie dense foods like a Whopper, right? Like a Whopper sauce, and you have broccoli, right? So take a pound of a Whopper and a pound of broccoli. So like size is obviously different, but broccoli is so nutrient dense and calorie light compared to a Whopper, which has nothing in it. And then even if you Google, fast food from say like McDonald's in the 70s, and then fast food from McDonald's now, it looks the same.
Supersized.
Yeah, well, it probably looks the same if you just let it out for 30 years. But the actual food of the burger and the fry, like what you got, 30 years ago is totally different, right? So, like Liz was saying, the first time I realized that, like you didn't have to eat, 5, 6, 7 small meals a day is when I was working at Export. In between every client, I'd run upstairs in the break room, like shovel like rice and chicken and asparagus down my belly, and then I'd be tired all day because I would eat, I feel heavy. I would eat, I would train, I feel heavy, So it's like it's not sustainable, first of all. And then we just had a baby. He's what, 2-3 months old? Was it 2.5?
11 weeks.
Yeah, so he's 3 months old, and this kid eats like every 2.5 hours. So feeding someone every 3 hours makes you kind of see like how crazy it is and how frequent it is, and it's really not sustainable for an everyday person, especially if you're working like 9 to 5. So where you're going like work in a bank in the teller booth and like you're shoving like food down your mouth, and then where you going to bring like 9 containers of chicken and rice and broccoli to work, like your breakfast and your dinner all go look the same for like food prep. Like bodybuilders can do it, people that do shows can do it, it takes a lot of discipline on that end of it. But for everyday person, it's like, eat healthy food. So if you're looking at, the food pyramid, like not the actual pyramid, but like the importance of
Hierarchy of food.
Yeah, the hierarchy of food and the quality. So like the food quality is always going to be the ground layer, like the foundation. And it's like a third of it, right? So what kind of food you eat? Does it grow out of the ground? Is it one ingredient? It's like chicken is chicken, tomato is a tomato, rice is rice, right?
One ingredient, whole food.
Yeah, I don't like rice. I don't know why I keep saying rice. So it's like strawberry is a strawberry, right? Or you get a protein bar. So like I was driving to college many moons ago, right? And I stopped at a gas station and there were selling Meta Rex bars there. It's the first time I saw a protein bar at a gas station. And if you've ever been to a gas station, there's nothing healthy at a gas station besides water. Right? There's all cigarettes there. It's like, it's not healthy. Right? So that's like, it can't be that good for you, right? So, and then you look at the label of a lot of these supplements, like, if you take isogenics, or even take Shakeology, it's like, it's all like crazy berries you can't find anywhere. That's why it's like $120 a month. And like, it's all bullshit, first of all.
$400 a month, really, if you're doing the full isogenics program.
Whatever. Yeah, it's too many dollars a month. But what it comes down to, everybody's going to be different, right? So what matters the most is the quality of food and then the quantity of food, right? So how much you eat. Just remember, if you burn the same amount of calories that you eat, you're going to maintain your weight, right? If you eat more than you burn, you're going to gain weight. Yeah, right, you're gonna get fat. And if you burn more than you eat, you're gonna lose weight, right? So it's like the basic calories in, calories out equation, right? Like as dumbed down as you can get it. Right? Food quality matters too. So if you eat 2,000 calories in Burger King, it's not the same as 2,000 calories in healthy, natural, organic, whatever food, right? It's totally different how your body is going to react and change, how fast you're going to drop that unnecessary weight and all that stuff, how you're going to feel in the morning, right? So the food quality, the food quantity, and then lastly is the food timing. So if you have one huge meal or you have 20 small meals, at the end of the day, it all adds up to the same amount of calories, right? So if you take a pile of food, however you want to split it, right, into 20 Tupperware containers, what's that program? Look at Tupperware.
21-day fix.
Yeah, 21-day fix, right? So you get a container for like one strawberry in there. Yeah, good luck with that, right? It works for a month. And then people are just like, containers.
21 days.
Containers. So it's a short month.
Yeah.
Right? And then it's like, containers freak me out. I'm like, I know, right? Just like eat like a normal person, but eat healthy food.
Yeah. I would say at the end of the day, if you need to understand what's in food, a really great app that you can use is MyFitnessPal. It's free. A lot of clients that like to use it because, some people do come from a calorie dense diet, and when they start eating healthy, they're noticing that the foods that they're eating are nutrient dense and less in calories. So the value actually gets bigger with nutrient dense food, like Art was saying with the Whopper versus the broccoli, right? So if you are curious and you just want to see how much are you intaking right now today, however many times that you ate today, track in MyFitnessPal and just get a glimpse of where you're at. Because again, the quality of your food matters, but the calorie balance also is really, really important. And if you're not new to this and you haven't done isogenics or you haven't done counting the little containers or whatever, and you need to just see where you're at to get an idea. If you have goals, to lose weight, then you need to burn more than you're eating. If you have goals to gain weight, then you need to eat more than, you are exercising and moving throughout the day. So just remember that the myth of 6 small meals is all bullshit. You can eat twice, 3 times, 4, 5, whatever works for you, especially if you travel or you have kids or, whatever your lifestyle looks like. Do what works for you, because that is going to be what is sustainable for you, rather than trying to do, some sort of diet, eating every 2 or 3 hours for 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, and listen, guys, like, we're not shaming supplements. It's like we're not anti-supplements, so we'll sell supplements here. But, and a lot of clients ask us this, right? So it's like, can I have a meal replacement, or can I have this bar? Like, yeah, you could have it if you absolutely have to have it. Like if you're driving to Tennessee, like there's nothing but fast food. Like like make yourself a protein shake or a protein bar. It's gonna be better than a Whopper, but it's not better than a healthy meal. So it's like kind of in betweener, right? Just
have a couple more ounces of protein, like at each meal, rather than trying to fit in 2 shakes or a meal replacement bar or whatever that looks like for you. I would just say increase, if you're eating 4 to 6 ounces of protein at a meal, increase that to maybe 6 or 8 and just try to get in a little bit more protein at each meal, or just create a 4th smaller meal, whatever works for you, right? I just had a protein shake on the way here. It's just the way that our day worked out. If you are gonna have supplements and do, need things for convenience, we sell them here. We work with a lot of people that need items for convenience. I also need items for convenience sometimes. Just make sure that it's clean. Your protein shake should not be like the isogenics list, that ingredients like super, super long. It should be very, very simple. I would recommend First Form, Run Everything Labs, or Orgain. Those are my top 3.
Yeah, guys, we'll make a separate supplement video later. Yeah. We'll put a link in the bottom somewhere.
You should go on.
Right, if this is on YouTube. Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll make a separate video. What's good, what's not, what works, what doesn't. There's like 3 that work and then the rest doesn't, right? Okay.
Moving on.
All right. Lastly, myth number 5, right? So we went over so far, we went social media influencers and how looking good doesn't mean you're smart enough to teach other people or coach other people how to look like you look, right? Like supermodels can teach other people how to be supermodels, right? Some can, most can't, right? So don't fall into that trap, right? Following people on social media, Instagram models, and then just buying their $49 a month programs, which are like cookie cutter for everybody else. What they do is most stuff is what they don't do, and like all the silly exercises they do on Instagram, like Bosu balls and donkey kicks and band stuff and crazy stuff. Like, yeah, that's not what they do. Okay. All right. Myth number 2 was about quick fixes, right? So like fat burning pills, different isogenics, different programs, the
extreme calorie deficits, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. Everything you see pretty much on the tabloids and the magazines. Yeah. All right. So myth number 3 was going high intensity all the time and then just engage in that beast mode, like the shirt says, like beast mode on. Does not work every time, especially long term, right? So we talked about how your program should be progressive and then your body adapts to training, and then going beast mode all the time will actually slow down your results. Myth number 4 was meal frequencies. 6 to 25 small meals a day does not work, or it does work, but it's not necessary. And brings us to myth number 5, which is
bulking.
geared towards women, right? So this is like a girl's myth that lifting weights will make you bulky, right?
False. Cupcakes and wine
false.
and cheeseburgers and pizza.
Right, so if you live in Chicagoland area, Molly's Cupcakes and Stan's Donuts will make you bulky, right? Delicious. Right? I don't like donuts. My buddy Josh gets like a 12-pack all the time, and he's got abs. Yeah, I don't know, he doesn't. But yeah, so when clients come in, and this is not every time, like we have clients come in, and we talk about our program, what they do, and how we train, and how we coach. And this being a strength and conditioning gym, obviously we'll go over the benefits of strength and resistance training, and how everything's kind of layered, foundationally, focusing mostly on strength and how that's going to change your body long term. So the biggest complaint, well, not a complaint, but by the biggest issue, especially with women, because guys like, I want to get huge, and girls like, I want to get toned. First of all, like there's no such thing as like toned muscle. You can either grow it or you can shrink it,
yep.
Right? But what makes you look toned, which is like more defined or like tighter, I guess, will be less body fat. And the fastest way to lose body fat and keep it off is having more muscle on your body. Yep. Oh, prop time. All right, so look at, I don't know if you've seen this, right? I could get this on Amazon, but this is what fat supposedly looks like. This is kind of yellow. It's usually more white. Like yellow fat is better. But this is 5 pounds per size of body fat. This guy is 9 pounds of pure muscle, because he lifts. He lifts, right? You even lift, bro. He's not getting a beast mode shirt. So 5 pounds of fat, 10 pounds of muscle, 9 pounds of muscle, right? So my point is, to reduce the body fat or to actually change the way you look, because everybody wants to look better, right? A lot of people focus on the wrong thing. People focus on the actual number in the scale. Like, does it make a difference if you weigh 160 or 155? Right? Do you wear a label on your back when you go to, Whole Foods and you're buying your organic steak, says you're 160 and you're buying organic because you weigh 155? Like, no, nobody cares. Nobody cares what size you are. But what people see is the way you look. Right, so focus on that. Yeah. So when you start to work out, you start to do resistance training. It's like, yeah, the scale might not move. You might actually gain weight on the scale. But when we test and we do like the body fat and all the other stuff, like, yeah, there's actual body transformation instead of just weight loss. Right. So all these magazines, all the programs, like they market weight loss, but when you're actually losing the weight, you're losing muscle and you're losing fat, so that's why you look exactly the same, just smaller. So take your picture, put it in Photoshop, and shrink it, and it looks like a butterfly.
V's here.
What?
V's here. Just go ahead, keep going.
And it just looks smaller.
All right, ladies, I gotta say, I think that so many women constantly tell me, I wanna look like Judy, I wanna look like Sally. And I'll be happy when I weigh a certain number on the scale or when I am, a certain size. And I would just encourage you not to compare yourself to those other people, because your body is your own body and you're gonna carry weight differently. I carry weight. A lot of people think I weigh less than I actually do, but I also lift. And lifting is what makes me feel good. It makes me feel confident. And so, one, it's not gonna make you bulky unless you're taking some injections or some other hardcore supplements. But it's also gonna give you more than just strength and shedding body fat. It's also gonna give you mental strength and confidence. Confidence in your life to be strong for your kids, to be strong if you're helping move things, there's nothing worse than having to ask a man for help. If you just need to move like a 50-pound box, like, come on, you could do it. We have the capability. So I would just encourage you, don't be afraid of those heavy weights. I lift heavy weights and I feel so empowered when I go for the PR and I accomplish a lift that I didn't think that I could do before.
Exactly what she said, right? I feel great because I just feel strong. And just really quick, taking classes when you're doing sets of 1,000 reps or 50 reps does not make you more toned. It doesn't really do anything, right? So lift heavy between 10 and 12 reps. Focus on the big lifts like the deadlift, the squat, the press, overhead press, the carry, the row, right? And it's because it's the basics that work, and basics are the boring things. But also the basics are the ones that take the most technique, right, and form and all that stuff. Like, just make sure you have a coach to show you how to do all that, right, and write your program that's progressive and measured, and as you get stronger and you do better, you're always leveling up, right? So like Mario, level 2. All right, guys. So that was our biggest 5 myths of fitness. We went over the social media influencers, the quick fixes, the beast modes, the meal frequencies, and that weights do not make you bulky. Subscribe the button below, and we'll see you soon. Taco Tuesday, Taco Wild Fitness Tuesday. Yeah, bro, you're a superstar.